Why should you not be here?
Well, just the button gave me an issue, so I'm just like, whatever. Good enough.
Hmm?
And
Oh, perfect time to learn.
perfect time. Here, we're live. Whoa.
Just once.
Forever, infinitely. Right. We are live. We're live.
We are live.
Oh yeah, hey everybody. Thanks for joining us here tonight at East Van. We're gonna do like a little panel talk and get just generally have a little chat about. I think it's fun to hang out as a group and talk about what's been going on in the industry that we're doing stuff in. And we got some really smart people up here next to me. I'm very lucky to be on stage with them, so we can discuss the exciting things that have been going on in this crazy world we live in. Hang on, I'm just gonna retweet the stream from the ETH Van account. Okay. Hey Julian, how you doing? I missed you. How was your trip? You said it was pretty good. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. It's always nice to go outside of Vancouver sometimes. Okay. So I was just reading about the Genius Stablecoin Act that passed apparently yesterday, which I think is like, haven't really heard many people talking about it, but it sounds like a pretty like important thing that just happened, or maybe not. I don't know. Does anyone here like done more looking into it and have any opinions on whether it's like good or bad, or just generally how does it affect us or the crypto industry generally?
The Stablecoin Act, at least, I read a little bit about it, and it's mainly you now need stablecoins to be one-to-one backed, which is great. Your stablecoins cannot be not backed by dollars anymore, which means, you will not have... What stablecoins were there that were not one-to-one backed?
I think you're referring to Tether a few years ago.
I mean, we had our favorite stablecoin called UST.
Yeah, UST was a fascinating one. Yeah, that went straight to... It still has something.
Wait,
it's not fully zero.
Wait, actually, does the act mean that you can't have algorithmic stables anymore?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask because hang on, I want to hear what you have to say.
No, I think it wasn't clear. I think it was I think that was one thing that was left open. Like if you have one that you say is dollar denominated, it has to be one-to-one, and you have to have proven reserves. But I don't think, at least what I read, I don't think it shuts the door on an algorithmic stablecoin. I don't know that it. So what was it? The Terra Luna,
USD.
Yeah. So I think it didn't explicitly say no dice.
But to be called a stablecoin, you need to be one-to-one backed, or is that not a thing?
Yeah, who does this directly affect? Like who's currently
like
operating?
Almond, like nut milk and normal milk, they have to spell it with a Y now. That's pretty much it.
Okay.
Wait. So is USDE a stablecoin anymore, or no? Was it ever a stablecoin?
It is, but it's stable with an AE.
There we go. So that's the Greek AE. Yep, there we go.
So is it just like a legal status to actually call yourself market yourself as a stable coin? You have to have
you have to be stable.
Backing. You have to be stable, and if you're not, you can't be stable. It's got like chicken, with the U. Is that it?
Well, but isn't it just for U.S.? I didn't look deep enough. Is it not just for the U.S. companies? If you're in the U.S. trying to do this, that's who it's applying to, right? So if you're out in,
this doesn't affect Tether at all, for example. Does it?
Yeah, they're not U.S. They don't have any U.S. exposure, do they? I think Switzerland. Right?
I mean, U.S. is like the world. If it it starts in the U.S. U.S. has they're long hands that goes anywhere in the world. So
it really all it did is kind of like the McDonald's advertising that says now 100% beef. Basically the same thing, now 100% backed.
So the other thing that I like about, or well, I shouldn't say I like per se, but like that Besant, is that his name? Besant, the new guy, the new chair. Anyways, whatever the treasury guy there, he was saying how all of this is going to be like more for treasuries. So like stable coins could actually own a lot of treasuries. So just as like Tether buying up, they're like in, I don't know, 20th or 30th place or something ridiculous as far as buying treasuries, or maybe it's even higher. I don't know where they're at. But if they're buying treasuries all the time, it's like, oh, well, this is the best thing to do. Now you've got, even if it's other countries or other jurisdictions that are like, we want to be a part of the stablecoin, extravaganza. It's forcing everyone to buy treasuries. So it's actually like kind of this proxy way that never really was available before, was to buy treasuries through that. So we've got this whole treasury backing thing that for stables, and then they like that, and maybe somebody could pass on the yield, but I doubt it. You'd be better off to just hang on to it.
I believe they cannot pass on yield if they're a stable coin.
Okay.
You need to be stable.
So that actually remind me of March. The hyperliquid guy. He shorted Bitcoin, and then he minted a lot of USDC, USDT. I think that is the reason why the U.S. government one of the reasons they want to regulate the stablecoin business instead of just letting those people laundering money. But it's not laundering money; it's just a market maker in the tech ecosystem. So, and the one know, they know, they don't know. They don't know.
Okay. Yeah, not sure I know much about that per se, or that's I don't know. Yeah.
Did not hear about that either.
Yeah. Okay.
The reason that you haven't heard much news about it is because it only passed the Senate. So in the U.S., the bill is passed the Senate, and then it goes to the House, and then once it passes the House, it gets signed into law by Trump.
Oh, I thought it was the other way
Or
around.
President. Not in this one. Or I guess yeah. So there still needs to go through, and I think the Senate has more Republican control, so it's like kind of easier for Trump, who's pushing this, to get it through. The House is, I think, a bit more divided, so it's still unclear if it will succeed. That.
Oh, I see. Okay, so it's not like actually signed into law.
It's not
at
signed.
this
It's not
point.
law
Yeah,
yet.
Right. Okay, but still. But and also we think not super Julian's not very excited about it. It sounded like.
I mean, it doesn't seem like it will affect USDC saying we are 1-to-1 American government backed stablecoin, American government supported and backed stablecoin. We are compliant with Genius. We are the Genius stablecoin. That is what will happen, and
Nice.
that is the end of it.
Okay, cool.
That seems like that's what would happen too.
So buy Circle stock.
Yeah, again, the only other thing I would hope, because exactly now we're just we're pushing everything off chain, and if we want exposure, it's through the off chain options. So it's okay, now you go buy stocks, and we're seeing the same fucking thing happen with Bitcoin, where it's just if you want pumpamentals, you go buy Sailor, go buy TradFi shit. So we're really pushing for TradFi's finally here this time around in a beautiful centralized way, right? Nice. We really did it. But what I will say, fuck. I will say that on the stable side of it, though, most of that will be issued, those issuers are on chain, right? And so they're likely, majority of Circle is on, Circle is on Ethereum, I think. Anyways, we have over 70% or something.
Surely, yeah.
So it's still good for the ecosystem, but yeah, I don't know.
It's funny, Circle's on Ethereum, but they support the weirdest chains. You can withdraw your USDC on Algorand.
Really?
Ooh,
that's an interesting partnership that popped up there.
It's an old Gary Attai or something maybe.
Well, we also have. Sorry, Julian.
It's just more playing on Circle Tether. The valuation of Circle, if Tether was valuated at the same kind of multiple as Circle, it would be valued at 515 billion.
515 billion.
That's a bit bearish. I think it needs to be higher.
Yeah. But it'd be the second largest market cap after Bitcoin. So it just gives you an idea of Circle being interesting here.
I think Circle's onto something.
IPO
Yeah.
instead of launching a meme coin on chain.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we also have new stablecoin chains coming out, I've heard.
Oh, Plasma.
Why?
Yeah, well, that was Omni.
No, there's
that was
Plasma, but there's also Stable.
The chain, stable chain. Oh, that's
Chain's
way
called
better than
Stable.
Plasma.
Like,
So
both of them are Tether backed, but they're beefing on Twitter. Kind of funny.
Got it. So
Okay, yeah.
isn't Plasma like a kind of new hash version of what Omni used to be? Any Omni people in the house here? Nobody knows what I'm talking about.
Like
so Omni was with the very
Omni-
first chain where Tether was issued, and that was part of Bitcoin. That was like
It's just Tron, but not by Tron.
It's just
Is-
Tron, but not Justin Sun.
is Plasma.
Plasma and Stable and all those are just Tron, not by Tron.
Oh,
Are they?
interesting.
They're EVM though, right?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Tron?
again,
yeah.
Tron, but not by Tron.
Interesting.
It's
Okay.
just like a stablecoin chain.
But what does that
but
mean?
not
Like,
by
what
Tron.
what makes it a stablecoin chain?
It's a chain that has stable coins and stable coins only.
Only?
Well, no, you can have more things, but the main thesis is you have stable coins on there.
Well, so it sounds like like a personal decision that I would make, not like the defining feature.
Yeah, but the chain's called stable. You know it's stable. It's made for stable coins.
What? All right. Do you know like anything actually like technically interesting about stable
You can
or
send
plasma?
Stable from Bob to Alice and Alice to Bob.
That's yeah.
Yeah, like
Who-
what's the gas token? Is it a stable coin? Is there fees?
No, there should be no or what?
Oh, I'm not sure actually, but I would assume there would be no gas or just pay fees in stablecoin. Like,
We
why do you need
rebuilt
a token?
Swift.
Yes.
Yeah, but Swift has fees.
Swift has fees, so we did a no fee Swift.
So is this a competitor to XRP or is this a competitor to Bitcoin?
Ooh.
It's a competitor to Circle.
Yeah. Anyways, with these, I think like banks will have their own, like they'll be either whether they use these own things or like, JP Morgan, they've filed for their own, stable or whatever. So I could just see them dealing with like, them having their own banking transfer between this and that. Throughout all this, like, I'm glad we brought up XRP and Ripple because like they basically, like it's going to zero. Well, sorry, no, it won't actually go to zero because that's where all the capital is trapped. and it-
Adding zeros. Going to 1,000.
Going to 1,000. Okay. Anyways, there's just like it's never going to. I don't think it'll materialize. However, I do have my opinions about like XRP being a fantastic zombie chain where just capital is just locked there, so we can just kind of vampire into it to pull the, use that liquidity somehow. Yeah, but on the mic.
Yeah, you're saying that XRP is going nowhere just because we have stables and they'll handle
Yeah,
the
the whole-
interbank or inter
Yeah.
company transactions.
Why
better.
would JP Morgan use XRP
When it's
to
backed
go
by
out of
nothing?
their dollars into XRP to then transfer really fast to then come back out and sell the XRP or transfer out into whatever other unit it is when they could just literally say, I'm going to send you US dollars because the US dollar is what everybody wants and
Yeah.
wants to do a most trade in. And then you also have the backing of the US government to say, hey, we want you to trade in these dollars. So the largest banks, some of the largest banks being in the US, they're just going to use that. It's all dollar denominated. We don't need your fucking,
we don't need
we don't need
XRP.
exactly. The thing is
Okay.
just a. So I mean, I understood where their thesis was. Why did it need to have value? Was the next question for the amount of like, well, we need to be able to fill liquidity. Well, if you were to switch over the entire world over to it, then maybe the token would need to have like $1,000 worth of value because of how much Swift transfers, on a daily basis. We're nowhere near that, and it's not going to happen anytime soon. So even if they were to bring over like 1% of that, if you got lucky in the beginning, you need the token can be 10 cents, and it's going to probably
Right.
function.
Well, it'd almost be better, or it wouldn't matter.
Well, you need to have some value because you need to say, I need to grab enough
Right.
of these tokens
Right,
to
right.
push.
equal
If I want to
what
send $1
the
million,
cents
I need to
pay.
have X amount of XRP, which I can push in. transfer that
But
over.
it just makes more sense if it's dollar denominated.
Yeah.
It's stablecoin.
Correct. I'm going to send dollars to you, and then you figure out what you want to do with it.
Well, I think the reason is not the whole road isn't USD denominated.
Yeah.
So like I think if you want to swap between USDC and Japan C, Yen C, there needs to be some kind of liquidity for that. And there's maybe not enough USDC Japanese C liquidity. So XRP is the
So it's an AMM. XRP is the AMM.
yeah, potentially.
Yeah. So that's, yeah. To me, I'm like, I understood where they wanted to send it, but the whole swapping aspect of it too, like, you know, now we're just like probably making some really inefficient liquidity models. Again, I never got into too deep into that and how they've all, you know, calculated that. I probably would guess that most XRP, you know, if I was to ask an XRP or XRP Army member, they probably wouldn't be able to answer that either. But if anybody else has comments
Have
on
you
that.
considered that the stated purpose of the XRP ledger is not what it actually is supposed to do? What if it becomes a taxi driver chain or a gig economy chain? You know, these are the most holders are just you know, blue collar working people.
Yeah, zombie capital.
And
yeah.
these are the people that like it the most. And then the foundation hold or whatever, whoever runs a node, which is just foundation designated entities, they hold most of the supply forever. They're never selling it. I think it can become something completely different than what we expect.
Well, yeah, that's what I've been saying. Like earlier, I was mentioning
Okay, I
like it was
missed that
zombie. Like I call it zombie capital because it's capital
Yeah.
that's just never going to leave. It can't leave. It has nowhere to go.
Yeah, it has
People,
nowhere to
you
go.
can't get out of it. You can't, you know, unless if you try and sell it. But there's just not enough liquidity to do that. So this thing just stays as trapped liquidity. And so now, if you have people who can build some sort of, you know, kind of spear into it, you harpoon into it. And say, all right, we're going to say that we're harpooning in, we're locking it up in,
Oh.
I don't know what.
I misunderstood you. That's really, yeah, I like
So it's
that way
literally
better,
just
yeah.
zombie capital that's never going to leave. And it just, that's all it's going to be. And it's great. So don't tell me that there's going to be XRP is going to change the world. Just say it's just there as zombie capital and it'll have use as just zombie capital.
I like this idea that Yoni has though, where like the XRP bag holders create like an economy amongst themselves to like
Yeah, that's
transact
what I
with
always
their
thought
XRP.
happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It should be studied for how effectively it's been marketed. Like, how did you get all these normally people to care about Swift or like interbank? I have no idea how they did it, but it is literally the best one we've ever seen. It is the best
Not
call.
wrong. Not wrong.
This is like
yeah.
hex, but legit.
Like, Bitcoin is exciting, but XRP is not. I don't know how they did it.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, JP Morgan reminded me that JP Morgan is also launching their own stablecoin.
They are,
Yeah,
yeah.
But on base.
Yeah.
hey, bullish on
Buy Coinbase.
JPDM or something? Or
yeah.
JP, yeah. MD? JPMD.
yeah.
JP Morgan Dollar. Perfect. That's a pretty sick name, honestly.
So I mean that's a CBDC.
Is
it?
it?
No.
Is it a better
no.
version of CBDC? Like
No, it's
That's
it's
private.
It's a BDC,
Business?
a bank, not a central bank digital currency, it's a bank digital
But are
currency.
we
Right.
moving to a
BDC.
world where like there are no CBDCs? It's just private stablecoins
Hey.
on public blockchains, which is like
I think it's still possible. Like I'm sure it's you can probably see both. Honestly, like
So that was kind of the Trojan horse concept for
Mm.
CBDCs was to say, oh, well, it's not a CBDC because it's not the central bank, but it's actually just the banks, private banks doing it that are being told by the central bank how to operate it. So it's kind of like a proxy CBDC.
yeah.
So it seems like that could happen. And you'll just have to watch and make sure that you don't end up somehow with JPMD instead of USDC or USDT or some algo stable that's probably actually has some sort of backing behind it. But yeah, that's
There'll be a range, right? Like all the way from fully centralized, like China spyware coins, and then to your the private DeFi tokens, whatever, and like you'll still like operate amongst those different amongst that spectrum. Yes.
Yeah, I think right now is the best time to test out the Bitcoiners or Ethereumers, the faith, right? So because everything come in, what we do is just not to swap into the stable coin, because I think like Tango say, I think it's a Trojan horse, and it's gonna happen because those stablecoin they're pretty much if in the first beginning the big three needs Bifanis is like the founder of Tether.
iFinex, yeah.
iFinance, yeah, iFinance. Sorry, they are actually together. They are like doing, and then they lost the iFinance. They lost a lot of money of the Bitcoin, and then they give the people lost Bitcoin. The customer has a lot of shares, and then it becomes the Tether's original shareholders. Those guys, those people. And it's kind of scammy, It's kind of scammy the Tether, the stable coin, and also for for USDC. I don't have a really good feeling about it. I think it's gonna crash, and I think the best thing is gonna happen is hodl Bitcoin and hodl Ethereum. It's gonna happen, but once because it's a war, right? It's a war between the decentralized people, the CryptoPunk people against the centralized bankers. So it's the war, and it's gonna happen, and it's happening right now. So yeah, enjoy.
So what if the USDC though? I feel like they're positioning themselves to be first and foremost to get bailed out. So I think like we're good with USDC.
Yeah, USDC.
As long as you believe in the US dollar and the Fed. Yeah. The Fed will bail you out. So I think like that's where we're positioning. So when the US dollar goes to zero, that's when.
Sure, it doesn't change the fact that that'll eventually happen, right? Like, so they say. I think they explicitly said that like this push for like more friendly views on stable coins is because they actually think it's very important. They're finally admitting it's important to like maintain the reserve status of the dollar because it's falling out of favor among some people, and so they don't want to shy away from stable coins. They want to like fully embrace them to, hopefully that can save them, but maybe not. It's not enough. Like, will Bitcoin and Ethereum still win? Who knows?
Yeah, I think Bitcoin for sure will continue its dominance.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, I'd like to see ETH. I want to believe that ETH is still has its hope, but. I've had my kind of thesis about like it more as a commodity than just like thinking about it like digital gold, whereas Bitcoin really got that one. But ETH, you can do shit with it. So
I mean, we have an ETH expert here. So Rodney, why don't you tell us about your thesis on ETH?
Yeah, I would just remind one of Justin Drake's quotes, like ETH is in a three-way war between being an asset for transfer and some place that you store your data in it, like data availability layer. And there was one more that I forgot. So like it's basically like trying to win all three of them, which makes it more difficult. So like Bitcoin is just leading on one of them apparently. It just like holds that value. It's like first asset. But like Celestia and like other DA layers have their own position. So like ETH is trying to beat all of them. If it succeeds, I don't know.
Is it winning?
Isn't it winning besides like against Bitcoin? Like Celestia's, I don't know how Celestia doing price wise hasn't been looking so good, but
it's not about price.
Like, is it like a serious competition in your opinion to Ethereum in this time or in the future?
Yeah, like I would say the way that Ethereum is going through is definitely the end game. I don't see any opposite view on that. But yeah, like DA layer, as I said, is not about price. It's about, is this network able to store all that data? Is it even doable in a decentralized fashion that you do that on Ethereum, like blobs? And then another end, is Ethereum able to maintain, I don't know, like 4,000, 5,000, or even like $100,000 in value? Like, I don't know, like it started with like 1550 IP, like the burn and ultrasound money, blah, blah. So yeah, I'm bullish on that. I don't know. How about you guys?
You're bullish on Ethereum?
Yep, I do.
All right, so you think it is going to win all its battles?
I'm suspicious about Bitcoin. I love both personally,
Of course.
but maybe like Ethereum is doing it in a more fundamental way at the moment, even considering all the dramas that Bitcoin has. Um,
So
I know you wanna.
yeah, love this, love it. So the other part with like Bitcoin is that you have a whole bunch of people that are just really want it as a pet rock, and it's been great at that. It is still number one, and if it just stays as that, it'll likely still be positioning well to do that. I do see there's a lot of drama that's been going on lately because there's a certain camp that doesn't want to have. They really want to make sure that this has no functionality whatsoever, and they want to keep it as dumb as possible. And that favors certain things because there's some side of it that has, hey, this thing works as it is. Let's keep it simple. Let's not fuck it up. If we do that, then we know where it's at. We know the schedule. We know everything. This is it. It's good enough. And then there's also another camp that I kind of look at, or well, one of these other camps that also wants it to stay the same. As soon as you bring like any type of programmability or functionality, you can now open up more ability for custody. Because if we look at anything with scaling, if any of these other like options where people could, or other opcodes that could come along that could, enhance scaling for Bitcoin or enhance, people being able to retain custody of it in a simpler way. That's not good for custodial services. So if I'm a custodian who wants your Bitcoin to then do XYZ with, or I can take your Bitcoin or I can buy Bitcoin off the market and give you something else instead, give you a custodial product. If Bitcoin becomes a way that you can become custodial with it, that like doesn't work in those models. And so what I'm speaking to is something like master or strategy here with MSTR. If Sailor wants you to buy Master, MSTR, and then he can just dump all that shit and we can just keep all the Bitcoin. So he can just pump his own bags through MSTR. And now you're holding a custodial asset, which could get rugged at any point in time. It can go to zero. The whole Ponzi can blow up. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it just keeps going on up forever. Maybe. I don't know. I have my doubts. Or you have something like 21 Capital, who's also doing the same thing. And then they're going to offer lending and borrowing. And then now you've got like you're giving up your Bitcoin in a custodial way, and that's like pretty opposite to what we've done in Ethereum. Even if you've got something like Aave or all the way back to Compound and like Morpho and everything else now, those things are all on chain. We're using it, and it's all in a decentralized way. Now all of a sudden I'm just going to give up instead of putting it into a smart contract. I'm going to give it to somebody else and hope that they give it back. Like when has that ever worked? When has that worked out well for anybody?
Celsius was really nice.
Celsius was fantastic. BlockFi, amazing. And I remember being on like spaces with people who were like, "You guys don't need your shit coins over in Ethereum. We have BlockFi." Bah, bah, bah. And I just like go to BlockFi immediately, and I just like took a screenshot of like, "Oh, I need an email to log in." Like these fucks didn't even have like. We're not even thinking about Web3 login. Like, well, we didn't have that back then because Bitcoin wasn't that advanced like with the newer wallets. But yeah, these people all got fucking wrecked.
Email login's hard right now, though.
Email login, but email login is giving you, it's giving you on-chain credentials. You know what I mean? It's giving you ability to take it off. Whereas that was just like, here, you're logging in with your email, and if you lose your email, you are completely fucked.
Yeah.
There's no like,
or if they run out of money, you're also completely fucked.
Exactly.
Do you think like all like Bitcoin DeFi would actually be like a significant value increase for Bitcoin's like price, or do you think a lot of it has been driven by the centralization and like these institutions and such can actually, because there are custodians that are regulated, now you can actually buy this asset, and like is that driven more demand than instead having everybody? Because now if you're all in the DeFi system, a lot of these people they can't even participate in that, or like they won't participate in that. But.
Good point. And maybe that's where we get to a stage where we're like, oh, well, we can't like hoard this shit anymore, or we can't continue to hoard it at the same rate. Maybe they will. I don't know. But they're saying, oh, people are literally being able to come on chain and get their yield a different way, right? Like we're doing in Ethereum. It's just people are like, hey, I would like to get. That's why we're seeing a lot of like Bitcoin yield right now, where people are getting paid out in astronomical other little Ponzi tokens or yield or whatever else it is. But if we could do that on Bitcoin, I think you're going to see a lot more people interested in that. And I think we're going to see people that are like, hey, I can take a loan that's basically non-custodial, that's pretty cool. I think more people will go that direction. There are some solutions right now, like I'll give a shout out to Lava because they are using like discrete log contracts where that's actually like a piece of smart contract on Bitcoin. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, how does it work on a scalable level? We'll see.
We have Bitcoin L2s.
Well, that's the like actually Citria. That one I'm kind of like pretty interested to see what's going to happen now that the filter boys got wrecked and Core 30, I think, is the latest version, which will then remove filters so that you can put whatever size of data you need into the op return, however many bytes you want, up until 4 megabytes, of course. But yeah, that could be interesting. So Citria is like a ZK roll up. Looking at you now, Radney.
Haven't heard of that.
What? Oh.
What is the name? Say it again.
Citria, Citrea.
It's a ZK Bitcoin rollup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet.
That one is kind of
It's a
interesting.
ZK Bitcoin rollup. Does it actually do ZK to settle proofs?
That's beyond me. I'm
It
not a
just
ZK
does
expert.
ZK.
Like
To raise
I don't
money.
think it's possible. Like I don't think it's possible right now to have like a actual ZK rollup on Bitcoin right now.
So
Yeah,
because
that's the point, though.
I think
You
they're working on it. Yeah,
you
they're
raise enough money so that in the future, when it's possible, you'll be able to potentially launch. But right now, at least, you're funded just in case it's possible in the future.
but I think it's actually
How are they very
we're on the
close?
cutting edge.
so
Yeah.
again
It's
something
kind of like Monad. It's very close.
that's right.
No, because like the only way, like unless they're all just banking on OP-CAD being enabled, in which case, sure,
So I think so there's two things. The op return, now that the filters are gone, because what they were doing is from what I understand, I'm going to totally botch this. Citria needed 144 bytes to go into the op return of that code. So 80 bytes was the limit, or 83 or something was the limit on op return. So they would put 80 into there, and then they would put the remaining 64 into an inscription. And so now you're baking that into an inscription, which is now also adds its other complexities, and it's kind of this like Frankenstein fuck up, right? So now that the filters are gone on the op return, and they could literally just put in 144 bytes, I think that's the proof that they can bake into it. And then the other one that's coming in, and I think that also helps them, is now BitVM. But BitVM was extremely bloated for BitVM 2. And now they've just figured out BitVM 3 with garbled circuits. Garbled circuits?
Yep.
Yeah, hey, okay. So they're going to use a garbled circuit.
circuits. That sounds. Why they call
Radney.
them? Where they garbled?
Garbled.
Sounds bad.
That's great, though.
BitVM is great, except it is extremely expensive. Each
Wait,
transaction would cost you like.
No, this is just the challenge. If you're going to like challenge it, if you're going to challenge that's where BitVM 2 was really expensive. But now the trade-off for BitVM 3, which from my understanding, because you would have to use like a bunch of capital would have to go up front. They were saying it was going to be at today's price is like 16 grand or something to challenge one of these, is this fraud proofs? Is that the right term?
Yeah, fraud
I guess.
Is it like a fraud-proof kind of ZK rollup? What's like
maybe?
pessimistic rollup? What's the?
No, it's not. Okay. Okay.
Is the bridge
So-
by any chance only one way? How is it proving on?
Yeah, so
It's using BitVM.
yeah. So I think you need. Yeah,
Is it live?
No, it is not live yet. I think they've been pissing around on testnet, and like I say, as of BitVM 3, which literally just came out as of a few days ago, or like a couple weeks ago, even. So what the trade-off there is, instead of it being so capital intensive, it's literally more data intensive. So you would need to download it's something astronomical, like 5 or 10 terabytes. But once you have that download completed, you can actually now go and challenge it. So instead of I need 15K, what do you have? What's easier to come up with? 15K every time you want to 16 or whatever it is, 5 figures worth of Bitcoin to challenge something, or just download 10 terabytes, call it a day. And that once you have that initial state, that's like the proof that you can use, and that makes things way cheaper going forward. And it's supposed to be I think they were saying 100x cheaper. So 16K minus a couple zeros turns into $160, which is quite reasonable to and it should have some sort of value.
Well,
That's my understanding.
I personally am too off from the like Bitcoin VM track, but like whatever roll up on Bitcoin. But isn't it like shouldn't it be a model that allows you to run the verification of the ZK proof on Bitcoin? Because like everything that you have with Bitcoin, which is accessible to the developer, is I don't know like very simple opcodes and probably some like Schnorr signature and like normal signature verification stuff. Then by it being too big, do you mean the script that has to simulate the ZK proof verification on Bitcoin is too big? Or
not
is it the signature? What's that?
Not the script itself. So previously, to like do a single step of like an execution in BitVM, you had to chain like a bajillion UTXOs because state is not like a single state there. You had to go through every like sub-step of the BitVM opcode. So like every single thing you had, like first you're like when you're doing a fraud proof, you have to first agree on like what part of the state you disagree on, and then prove the state transition from that point.
Yep.
So for BitVM, you could do that. It just was very expensive because it's very hard to just do a proof in a single transaction. So the proof or the state and the proof, they got broken out into like multiple sub-proofs that got broken out into more proofs. And that is very expensive.
So it's still very much an optimistic roll-up at the end of
Oh, it is very much optimistic. At least, well, I don't know about Citria, but like generally in what I read about BitVM was like it would still be very so BitVM itself is optimistic. Maybe Citria built on top is somehow ZK, but we'll see.
So is it what you're saying is like every UTXO basically emulates one opcode in EVM?
Not even every
Every
like
series of UTXO.
every series of UTXOs emulate a single execution step.
Every opcode.
Every opcode or even like every like sub opcode, like you can have a complicated opcode.
Yeah, I mean other than Kachak, for example, like simple ones. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Millions of dollars you have to pay for just fraud proof then.
Yes.
Not millions, but like at least I
Yeah,
don't know, like
I think
some
that's what they were
thousand.
saying. About 16K.
But
16K.
like it's just a funny thing because if OPCAT gets enabled, all this work goes to waste.
Yeah.
Does it?
So
Yeah.
These things just become useless if you can
Yes.
like OPCAT's so good that there's
Yes.
no need for
Exactly.
any of them. No Bitcoin L2s, no nothing like.
Like as in like you won't need BitVM. BitVM
Okay.
is
Oh,
a
so
really
that-
complicated piece in this like whole. So BitVM is the base that supports all of these. Like they're banking on it to work for
Right.
it to support these L2s, and it
I
is
see.
a really
Oh.
complicated like base piece that is an optimistic star ZK
All-
roll up.
Okay.
And,
How,
like,
how many
even-
of them are used? Is it how many like of the? There's like hundreds of Bitcoin L2s now. How many of them are using BitVM?
Oh, none of them.
Oh no. Okay.
Planning to?
How many like planning to? Is it like a?
how many planning?
Is
Not
it like
a-
okay, so it's not like a widespread.
It's not a widespread thing
Okay.
because like all the other L2s that are on Bitcoin right now are just a multi-sig bridge
I see. Okay. even
and a
better.
separate like
Yeah, yeah.
execution chain on the side. So
Right. What's their? Is that their plan forever? Or like
their
are they-
plan
they're
is when
banking on
there's
anything?
something better available, we'll switch to it.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah.
All right.
But BitVM is something that works with the way Bitcoin is now.
yeah.
And if we've learned anything, it's that Bitcoin is not very good at. We thought Ethereum was slow.
Yeah.
Jeez, yeah, Bitcoin just does not want to alter things, and there's just like disputes and fights, and it's a mess. So to get anything done, and there's just so many people that are like not interested in OPCAT be getting enabled. They think that it's going to. The biggest thing I keep hearing is that it's going to create MEV. So we're going to have a bunch of Mevel, as they keep calling it, all this stuff. That's because now you've got
will
like.
have more activity, then you'll have more people meving you. Why is that a problem?
Well, I mean, it's spam though, right? Spam is bad on chain because
Is it?
that gives more fees to miners, and that's
can't
I don't
have
want
that.
that on my. I don't want to store that on my node, sir, because want it to be less than 4 megabytes every time. I want empty blocks so that my node syncs way faster. into the future.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, again, goes back to custodial too. Like now you can just push it off chain and do it there in custodial situations.
Actually,
but-
why no one has ever built something that you can snap sync on Bitcoin with ZK?
You can what? Sorry.
Like a snap sync in Bitcoin. Let's say like I have a ZK proof that proves from block number 0 to 10 million. Here is the proof. Just don't download it. Here is like the state at the end.
That's
And-
not the Bitcoin ethos. They don't believe it in the core developer group. No. You need to have a full archive node, a full
Oh
node.
yeah.
If you do a snap sync, you're not a real Bitcoiner.
Because now I have to
Well,
Yeah.
archive.
yeah, I know. Like you,
I finally understand why Satoshi left because I finally understand why he left. He said, "Guys, and I give you the solution. I give you the red pill. You just mess with it, and it's how it is, man. So sad, so sad."
But before he left, he disabled.
He did
OP
design-
Cat,
he did.
So
I
was
thought
like,
it was
You're
going
not
to be
ready for this yet.
not ready.
Yeah,
This is too
yeah.
strong of a superpower for you guys.
I'm worthy.
You guys need to evolve before you can use this superpower.
Yeah, exactly. When you become worthy, you'll be able to activate it, reactivate
Nice,
it.
nice.
Until then,
Yeah, and what it seems though is like OP Cat is a long ways out. It's not going to happen this year. We'll be lucky if it even gets considered next year, from what I kind of can deduce in the Bitcoin community. But things like the CTV, which is like covenants related, and check sig from stack, those are like covenants which will allow for more scalability and allow for people to retain custody easier with their UTXOs. So that is, and those two things do help make BitVM cheaper. So that helps that side of it. However, like right from like the horse's mouth, right from Robin Linus, who has actually who wrote BitVM and has like done all of that. Like when I spoke to him in Denver, he's just like, this is a really hacky, it's like not a long-term solution, but it's what we have to work with right now.
even with OPCAD, from what I understood now, we just set the maximum we can have like an optimistic, like efficient optimistic rollup on Bitcoin, not still ZK. Right?
No. With OPCAT, I think you can have, like, I don't actually know how it works, but apparently string concatenation gives you almost like a Turing complete machine if you try hard enough.
Yeah, like I'm trying to wrap my head around how you're gonna like, do a Stark proof.
There's 14 steps to it, so it's not like a thing you can just think of.
Anyhow, all of this is eventually going to happen on Bitcoin, and then we'll do all of our fancy Ethereum things on Bitcoin. I think that's where we were headed with this whole like
Right.
derailment here.
So is that it? Will Bitcoin be the death of Ethereum if we just enable one little
Well,
cat thing?
I don't know if it's just the one
No,
thing, but
or will Bitcoin be a death of itself if you enable execution?
that's yeah,
Yeah,
could be.
So I could see you being bearish in some ways. Like,
Now Bitcoin
Utility.
has
yeah,
utility.
exactly.
It's
right?
not a sovereign store of wealth anymore.
Yeah, no,
It has
no,
functionality.
Yeah, no, yeah, exactly. We don't want this.
Yeah, well, and that's
That's what I was saying earlier. Like, I'm not. I feel like it just like doing nothing and just like being hoarded by like these giant institutions is like the most bullish thing for the price. And let like the governments pump it and like let's not fuck around and do our unchained stuff on Ethereum.
Well, and that's where if we continue that way, where we're just like, actually, we're just going to brick Bitcoin, then it opens all of these other chains that I think a lot of us have exposure to. Those things start to pump because like, oh, okay, it's never going to happen on Bitcoin. We're going to go do it on Ethereum or do it on, some green chain or do it on, XYZ.
XRP.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. All the Bitcoin bridges to these other chains and becomes useful as a wrapped or bridged asset.
Well, that's the other thing that would be nice.
Hyperliquid Bitcoin. We love it.
Well, yes, but we need to have like proper bridges because right now they're just multi-sigs and that sucks.
Yeah, not great.
Not
No,
awesome.
they're distributed validator network.
They're deviants.
No,
Mm-hmm.
we're not
ZK
there yet.
bridge.
We're not there yet. Who the DV the only one of those is like threshold, right? TBTC
Not unit.
unit is still a 3 or 4. Can anybody tell us what unit
Yeah,
is?
that's a validated network.
Don't worry about it.
Network
Come on.
of 3 out of 4.
Don't worry about it. I like the way this guy's thinking.
Well, BitGo is 2 of 3.
Isn't Axelar?
Well, yeah, but the problem is that there's like 2 of 3. We saw what happened earlier with Bybit. What happened this year? Huh? Pass.
Isn't Axelar like a distributed validator network that can act as a bridge? Like there is.
Yeah, but it doesn't go to Bitcoin. There we go. Yeah. Mike, over there. Over there.
Where's
over there.
where's
over
the?
there, over there. Over there.
Oh,
Over there.
right, we
Over
only
there.
have one
over there.
mic in the audience.
I mean, not all multisigs are the same, I'd say.
That's true.
You
Yeah.
can have blind signing like they did on Bybit, or you can have a structure where validators are confirming both chains are presenting correct information to actually perform actions.
Ooh.
So it's not the same,
Yeah,
I'd say.
that's true.
You can still get data from both chains to confirm actions and release and move funds around. Bitcoin is a pet rock, so you have to work within the constraints of the pet rock. And what Bitcoin does allow is for you to verify transactions went through after 30 minutes or however long it took. So,
10 for the first for 0 comp, or well,
Yeah,
for 1
I mean,
comp,
yeah.
and then 6 for it's just an hour.
Mm.
Just an hour.
so yeah, I'd say not all multisigs are made equal.
That's a good point. A good point.
Like 99% of crypto depends on multisigs, and not all multisigs are made equal. So
Mm,
I
yeah.
wouldn't. I would just highlight that when you go deposit to anything.
So where does BitGo's multisig rank on all of this from 0 to 1 or 0 to 100?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, so there's two.
Sorry.
Well, mine's off topic, but I'm really interested to hear your guys' opinion on real world assets and like, is this a possibility? Obviously, stablecoins are kind of like that, but I see some big problems trying to extend it further. Like, sure, we can do stocks. You know, Kraken can say, "Hey, I'm holding these stock certificates. Yeah, let's trade all these." Like, sure, we could do that, but I see some big problems of it. You know, try to go much at trust.
Like custody.
Yeah, well, and yeah, more like
Does all of the gold in Fort Knox equal this? Who's auditing? Who's securing it? How did this work? What did a little shaving come off when
and
somebody?
How am I going to go and redeem this? Right? Like even one of the lawyers in Toronto was I don't know if he was making the joke about Alberta should institute like an oil dollar, and I was like, I don't know, like because oil is something that people need to use. It's not exactly like gold where you could just have it stored there and let's just trade these dollars. Like maybe you could tokenize like the contracts that companies enter into for purchasing like future purchases of I don't know, like jet fuel or gasoline, like that would be something maybe.
Yeah,
but I don't know
because
about,
you're saying that people don't really want to take custody of oil or large
Yeah.
barrels of, which we just learned the other day. After that, we found out that
if you have a own a futures contract to purchase some commodity like oil, and you like hold this to expire, you literally have to take the oil. Like they'll send it to you.
so now you got to figure out what you're doing with some barrels of oil.
some of these barrels of oil show up, like it's just be a disaster.
Yeah. Yes, true. So do people actually want that? Do they want the jet fuel, or do they just want to speculate on the price of things? Do you really want to speculate on Rolexes? Do you want to speculate,
The fun
do
thing
you?
about oil is because you have to take custody. The reason it was able to trade at a negative price
Yeah,
is because of that.
Because I'll pay you to take it, basically.
Yeah, because no one had the space to take it, so they were basically paying for storage. So maybe ETH does have a future.
Hey,
I'm just saying, people pay for storage at some point.
I think RWAs are cool. What you usually see on chain right now that is actually like working they're like kind of like private loans. So they're like one that I was recently looking at on Superform, C Sigma. They're called, and they're like a RWA protocol. Right now, they're offering 20% on your USDC. It's pretty good. and essentially they I think they do like some sort of like underwriting of like agreements with these like private entities, whoever they might be, companies who want to borrow funds and they're willing to pay 20% for this money. And basically then you just like that exists in the real world, and there's like some company that's like done this agreement with this entity that wants to do the loan, and then you just have like people on chain just like supplying the USDC eventually, and then it's like, oh, I get more USDC back when like you pay it off. So that's when they like, that's like what I've seen the most like common like actual live implementation of like RWA on chain is like these like just like private loans that you can participate in from on chain. It's just so far.
But you supply USDC to the centralized entity that has some kind of a loan with someone out there off chain.
Yeah.
And then they cash in your USDC, loan it to this guy, hope he pays them back, and then they buy more USDC and give you the interest or whatever.
So it might be like a little more decentralized than that. Like maybe that's like the protocol is facilitating some sort of loan agreement between me as a USDC depositor and like but yeah, there's some element of trust in the real world. Yeah, that's like, but I think that's unavoidable with like RWA generally. Like you have to get it, anything from off chain to on chain, you have to like trust something. Mm-hmm. So I wonder if you'd have some kind of like, I don't know how you could, but like for example, I'm thinking like oracles, like that's how you get like information from like off chain to on chain. You have like these decentralized networks that are like validating real world information and getting it on chain, and that's how we can like avoid trusting an oracle. Can you do that with like a real world like asset in the same way? If it's like we're talking more like these loans or like these are stocks that are on chain, like can we remove remove the centralized aspect to it?
Because why do we, again, I go back to this custody aspect, right? Okay, so let's take real estate an example. If you wanted to go like bet on REITs, right? Do you actually care about taking out I get a chunk of an office? Do you really want to take custody of that? You know,
just like a little corner?
Like, do you want the corner decontrolled? Do you really care about like randomly selected throughout this bucket, right? You're just like, hey, I'm going to buy this real world asset. Generally, you're doing it because you believe I want to speculate on this. So this is where I'm like, well, RWAs can literally just be a perp.
Yeah,
just be a perp with an oracle. As long as your oracle is solid and you have, some way to like calculate this whole thing, then you actually have just have a perp with a good oracle, and then we have HIP3.
Yeah.
Bullish.
Yeah. So, but do you think RWA is a little bit like centralized?
That's what we're saying.
Yeah.
So
I mean, Christian, like to your example, did we not learn anything from like Maple Finance?
Maple Finance is killing it. They got like 300 million TVL or something. They're doing great lately.
Yeah, just
like when we loaned money to some Kenyan company collateralized by bikes.
Yeah, bikes. That'd probably be a high APR, that one.
By like motorbikes. It was literally collateralized by like bikes.
Yeah.
It was like 24% APR.
Yeah. So these
did not get paid back, and they lost. They had to like socialize
that's the risk you take.
$6 million loss.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So if they don't pay it back, where does the it's DeFi. Yeah, you just get fucked. Like you get rugged. That's how it works, right? But so that's the risk you take. That's why you can get paid 20% on USDC, because that's the risk. You get paid for your risk, I guess. Yeah, but I don't know, like, what does a stock on chain look like if it's not a perp, right? Like, something like that. But, like, these loans are, like, whatever. I'm more interested in, like, how do you get something like that? Yeah, financial instruments on chain.
If you want stocks on chain, you just need to trust, like, an exchange to tokenize stocks on chain.
Yeah. So, like, there's some entity holding a bunch of stocks, issues tokens, but now that, like, we're just doing centralized shit on chain, like, it doesn't make a difference, right? So that's why, does a perp with a decentralized oracle, is that not even like a better way to trade a real world asset than actually?
There are good people who have liquidity on chain, don't want to pay your funding fees, just want to hold a stock.
But what if funding fees get super low on that? Because you're going to have your traditional trading fees, like even what do you got? Quest Trade's giving you $5, $9. I don't know what it costs or something like. They're free now.
They're free now.
Oh, Robin. Oh, okay. So yeah, we do. Yeah, the funding rate sucks. What I was going to get at is maybe funding rates could be low enough, especially with something like that we don't have. We have oracles that can actually play it versus like the funding to keep it in check. But if those could be low enough, that's like kind of the same price as like trading in and out of things if it was $5 or $9 or $10. But that doesn't seem to apply here.
I think
Say, oh, right. Good point. Yeah. Good point. Because if it's free, then you're taking the platform generally. Okay, so in this model here, if I'm Robinhood and I'm giving you free things, I'm probably just like putting a premium into the price and then taking it from there.
right.
Giving a
Th-
shittier
well,
execution.
or they're getting paid to sell the order to somebody else,
There it
which
is.
which would be,
Mev.
I guess, the one thing with tokenized securities is that you would know who's on the other side of the trade, at least, within the tokenized securities. Like, you could know. Whereas today, like, if you trade shares, like, you have no idea what you're trading with. Like, you really have no idea.
Mhm. But with the but good point here on the if it's free and it's like okay that the platform is free from a user standpoint, that is. But if I'm a market maker and if I'm not the market maker who Robinhood gets to use, well, that sucks. Whereas if I can come into a permissionless protocol and say, hey, wait a second, I can just market make because I want to do that, or however this is all going to work out. Now I can just I could get paid to either be long or short on the perp, right? So I can actually, to the point here of,
So
yeah,
it's even
the
worse.
funding rates, somebody's paying for, it's
Yeah.
not everybody's paying funding rates. Somebody's actually getting the other side of it. So that's actually profitable for some people. Just, if I'm, anyway.
It's even worse than the traditional finance. And if they create this RWA, you will say perpetual the futures. And for example, like junk trading, you're bad against junk trading. They're like professional institutional or Citadel have no chance to win. So basically just lost.
Skill issue for
They-
real, bro.
So-
Jump, Jump came back. I saw they're like did a rebrand or something. They're back now.
It's not even
That's-
rebrand. It's the same exact site.
Okay, I saw a tweet that was like we're back or we're different or something. Like what, do you know what they did?
Yes, they're back.
Yeah, where'd they go?
They paid a fine. Now they're back in. I mean, now Jump never really left like market making the trading side.
Yeah.
Like Jump is still like a large percent of the volume on Binance. It has
Okay.
been for the past like a while. So like Jump trading never left. It's just Jump crypto is now backed, which means they
okay.
can now do USD again.
Okay. All right, that's exciting. I miss those guys.
Love Jump. Jump's great.
All right, yeah, RWA is cool. Interested to see where it goes from here. It just seems pretty like nascent and silly a little bit at this point. Plume, you guys know anything about Plume? The RWA chain. I've talked to them quite a few times. They're doing they have a whole like division dedicated to setting up these like loan agreements and agreements with institutions. They have BlackRock issued instruments that you can access through their products. Kind of interesting. Like, I don't obviously understand it on a deep technical level, but they've built a whole like chain around it. And I don't know. So I don't know exactly what makes the chain itself unique. It's, as far as I know, it's a L2. But it's
OP stack.
but they have, no, it's actually not OP stack. It's something different. They again, they've I guess it's more like the products. I guess you could technically have launched on any chain. I don't know why exactly it has to have been this chain, but they have a lot of like interesting RWA stuff that looks like pretty good yields, and there's like a variety of different providers of these.
I mean, if you're
things.
launching on some other chain, you're accruing value to their token. If you have your own chain, then you accrue value to your own token.
So the main protocol on Plume is Nest, which is created by the Plume team. This is these are like the RWA like vaults that you deposit into, and I think it's somewhat similar to the example we talked about before, but again, I don't know exactly how it works. So there's probably you're trusting someone to like pay back money, or they do have T-bills as well. I don't know how that works. There's got to be some sort of custodian in somewhere to like make these things work, as far as I know, or like you're trusting somebody to hold something for you, pay money back. But anyway, they've created a whole chain about it, and we've got some stuff going on. all the protocols are going there. Morpho is going to be there, so see Superform on there. You could get you some super RWA shit going on. So fuck, we're gonna like. Yeah, it's actually you can do like leverage loop T-bills. Like that's pretty fun. I don't know, like so that'll be sick. Anyway, we're at like 7:36. We probably like wrap up soon. As anything like really interesting going on? Anybody's like life or job or world that like is they want to talk about? Like anything that everyone would find interesting and we shouldn't leave this panel without talking about?
Cipher card.
You tweeted about it. Tell me.
Yeah, basically, if you're looking to spend your hard-earned shekels from on-chain, and then it just, you can load your card with it. So there's like a bunch of these, obviously, that are out there. I still want like a Gnosis Pay type thing where you literally have custody and a multi-sig, which would be sick.
What's this one like?
What's the Cipher fees for Cipher card?
So if you get premium, which is $200 a year, they will send you a physical card or 2 physical cards
Is
or
it
whatever.
metal?
It's a metal one. Yeah. So that's sick. What? Discreet? The one that I'm going to get is screams that I have all kinds of cryptos. I'm going to try and get it to look like a Louis Vuitton thing that has like all the logos on it in Louis Vuitton style. I think that's going to be pretty sick. So I'm really looking forward to that. Sure.
You can have
Anyways.
it custom designed.
Well, I think. Well, I'm sounds like I'll get one. So I don't know if it's. I'm not sure if it's like
How
readily
do I
available.
sign up?
I'll send you a link. I'll get you set up.
And you don't have to use your own name. You can use the fake name.
Whoa! No, you got a
No.
KYC.
That is
This is all
illegal.
above board. This is all above board.
But then on the card, it can be the different name.
I don't know, maybe.
All right,
I mean,
but like,
anyways,
what's the fees?
So the fees, if you pay the $200, then your load fees are zero. Instead, they usually would charge you fees to load it. So like you can have their own wallet that's that is non-custodial, and then you have to load into what's going to a smart contract where it gets spent, right? So the load fees, and then I think the swap. So yeah, it's basically zero for that if you're using stables. But if you're going to use other assets to deposit in, then it's like charging you some fee in the execution, which I wouldn't recommend.
What's the FX fee?
FX fee, let me pull that up. But that was when it was, I want to say it was 1% or it's 0.5%. One of the two there. So,
Like I'm asking, this is better than the Crypto.com card from 2021 or 22.
I don't know. Like as far as the fees go, I cannot say whether it's better than that. What I will say is that it supports Hyperliquid, so you can just have Hyperliquid spot USDC on Hyperliquid core on Hypercore and just transfer it in. Boom. Or any of the other things. So you can actually hold like UBTC or UEBT or UETH. You can have any of those things and then transfer it in. So that's kind of sick.
You guys heard of EtherFi?
Yeah.
It's pretty good too. Yeah.
I haven't used that
They
one.
have a card now. EtherFi.
They have a
gotta
card
do all
now.
kinds of stuff,
Everyone
yeah.
has a card now.
Superform
Everybody has a
cards
card.
coming soon. So.
Nice.
Well,
Nice.
Simple has a card too now.
Yeah. Tell me about that. Tell me about the Well Simple card.
Well, Simple, they're like a high interest. They're not a bank.
Well, I know I use Well Simple, but I
They
didn't know they
file
have like a
taxes.
like,
They have
like
a
a
product. It's like literally just a credit
it's just
card.
is it a credit card, or
Hmm.
or are you spending your like Well Simple balance?
I don't know. They just like did a bunch of advertisements for a card, and I ignored it.
Well Simple credit card, and you get like. My credits you got there's a good credit and bad credit. You know, there's like leverage, and then there's debt. So I like
Yeah, but
Both are
everyone's
good.
bank
you
card.
got
TLDR,
you
both bank
use
card.
credit card, you get points, and everyone loves points.
Use cash.
Use okay,
Mhm.
all right.
Cash gets you no points.
No points on cash, dude.
Crypto, you got points.
Yeah, that's it.
Maybe we should
Trying to find-
tokenize cash on chain.
Yo, I think you might be onto something. Whoa.
Should make it fungible.
Guys, let me tell you a recent incident about USDT
Oh, do tell.
and both USDC as well. Like, have anybody here noticed they got depicked yesterday?
How much?
60%.
What do you mean?
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's not like actual USDC, but one of the exchanges in Iran got hacked,
Oh.
and
Oh.
people just sold off everything and drained the exchange, and so the USDC and USDT reserve basically went down to zero, and you
Oh.
could buy USDC for 60 cents.
Okay, can you like get it out when you buy it though?
What if you can untaint it?
Deleted water.
Delete the.
I mean, actually, you could get it out. I tried it, and you could actually buy USDC with Toman, not with dollar.
Okay. And then can you send it out once you?
Yeah, like it was like
Really? So how much free USDC did you get?
I didn't because it wasn't moral somehow.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
Well, like if
Because-
somebody else took a loss for you to make a gain on that, so
Like-
somebody who like got their money stolen essentially.
Sounds like a them problem.
Yeah, like that's definitely one way to look at it.
Scale issue for real again.
Like, that was the ultimate arbitrage opportunity.
Okay, well, like sometimes it's like the protocol fault that something happens, and so you can exploit it,
Right.
free money. But sometimes you know what was the reason.
Hmm.
Like if there is stuff going on, then you have the choice to decide whether was it legal, was it like moral, was it not. Whom are you facing to loss? Like if I wanted to exploit that, then I would know who are the people who are actually paying
Yeah,
for that.
yeah, that's what I said. Yeah.
Oh, well.
Interesting.
Yeah.
There was another one where a stable coin depegged pretty badly recently, but I forgot what it was.
Oh.
Was it another bridged USDC?
You can't call it a stable coin. It's not allowed under the Genius Act of 2025.
Sure. Yeah. Semi-stable. No, but wasn't there? Was it has to do with Sui or something?
I'm not sure.
When that was when their DEX was totally forked,
Not sure.
and there was like a local depeg where you could get it at a discount. But yeah, I thought that they had functions there. They have like freeze, and they also have like just remove it from circulation, like delete supply.
They have burn, yeah.
Yeah. So they
Yeah.
could do,
Yeah.
But this is more like existing supply that they haven't frozen that you could get at a discount.
This was 4 weeks ago. USDC on Sui depegged to 0. 11 million drained
That's
from
what I'm talking about,
Sui
yeah.
USDC pool.
Oh, he's with Sui? Oh, yeah, Z.
Huh.
Oh, yeah. I thought, yeah.
What?
Okay. No
Oh,
idea.
this was like a Dex hack. This one anyway.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
different. If it's a Dex hack,
Yeah. They,
No,
ro-
no,
they,
no,
oh,
no,
they rolled
no.
back Sui for this? For
No,
11?
no.
I don't know.
There was no rollback. They just added a freeze and transfer from this hacked address function. There was no rollback.
Yeah, all the
oh,
validators.
so it was like
Oh,
Dad
so
came along and
All the
just,
validators,
Just like
all the validators
infinite
just
God
all
powers.
the validators got on a,
God mode was initiated.
the validators got on a Discord call and were like, "Let's blacklist this one address."
Yeah.
So they blacklisted an address that held all the hacked money, and then a few hours later, they added a new type of transaction, some function
Oh,
that like let's transfer the money out from this address only.
bullish upgrade.
But there was no rollback. This was just like.
Seems worse.
God mode.
Was this a hard
God
fork?
mode.
This was
Yeah,
this was
when
probably
Sui
hard.
Classic.
It's a really hard fork.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that's kind of fun.
Oh my
But it's interesting that they didn't get Circle to call any of those functions.
No, wait. There's also a community vote
like a
about
poll
this.
on Twitter or what?
You know,
No,
if
on-chain community vote of like, should we like take the money from the hacker? And there was like, yes.
I think the fact that this hard fork went through with no issue means no one is actually using Sui outside Sui's ecosystem. Because
Well, yeah,
if-
the ecosystem is the one that's using it, of course.
no, like let's say you did Ethereum, then no, okay. Let's say something happens to Ethereum and Ethereum wants to do the hard fork. Then what if the hacker meanwhile has already sold out all the ethers to someone else in like real life, in like other central exchanges? But then you can't definitely do that easily because then you're stealing other people's money, not the hacker money.
Just where the money was frozen on an account that they knew was the hacker's account.
Well, you always can set it off chain.
No, how would it be off chain if someone just?
Yeah, I think Sui the leadership, the team did wrong, a little bit wrong, or really kind of because if you do study smart contract like roll back to not roll back like trace from the hackers like a smart contract to the Sui leadership wallet, this is big no because it's made sure it actually proved that Sui this ecosystem is really centralized. It's even worse than Solana. So
Yep.
no one would buy it.
I mean, I don't think they give a shit about that though.
So I'm really concerned about this, and it's just.
Were you
dramatic.
not concerned about it before that?
I didn't support Sui that much. I was in the base and OP, but now I just say okay. I just bought a deck, like a deck, like the Sui deck.
Oh
Basically.
yeah,
But I
so
don't
it's-
think they're gonna have enough money to fundraise that and to produce it. So probably not. Yeah. No, see how it goes.
Just to expand on the other one. So if you want to freeze the hacker's assets and the hacker's account, then how you're even sure that the account is owned by the hacker? What if the hacker has already sold it, if the stolen money and bought a Cadillac?
They froze it 10 minutes after the hack.
Well, then the hacker has made something out at the end of the day, because they have sold the asset already.
No, like
No, not the keys. Let's say I'm leading a contract with you. I'm saying, I will give you money in 10 minutes, $10 million. And then I will steal the money from Sui, but I wouldn't store them in on my own account. I will send them to your account right away without even
if you're accepting
passing
money
over my
without
account.
a full check on where the money came from,
So
skill issue on you. I'm sorry.
So are you talking
No.
about this? As,
I mean,
are you talking about this?
no, okay. It's not accepting the money before making the money. We are standing right here. I'm telling you, do you sell me this Cadillac for $10 million?
Uh-huh.
And I would hack the system right away,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't deposit the money into my account. I would send it to your account.
Exactly.
You're
And
saying
if,
inside the
if,
job.
if I get the money, I have to verify the money came from the right source. It is a skill
Okay,
issue
so
on
do you
me.
expect everybody in this space
Yes.
to
If
verify
you're getting
every
$10 million,
single
if
cent?
you're getting $10 million, you should verify that. Yes. It's very standard. Know your
You
customer,
can
know your
use
client, know your business.
You can use wait, you can use Houdini swap.
Yeah.
No one
Don't say that
ever
on
checks your
stream.
money source. You transfer the money to other chain,
Mhm.
and then Sui doesn't roll forward the money. Then who is at loss? The
No,
exchange.
again, this happened. The money came from a hacker's address, exploit, hacker's address, and it got frozen right there.
So yeah, the hacker just needed
Bill.
to be faster.
I mean, the hacker was able to bridge out some money out, and that money is just lost. They couldn't freeze it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What
No
if
one
the
took a-
address that is being used as the hacker's address is already the breach address?
No, it was not. It was the hackers. No,
No.
we know what the bridge address is. That's
it's
they knew.
amazing.
How do you know? Because the ecosystem knows what bridge address is.
It's truly
Okay.
amazing how many of these are like some guy clicking MetaMask.
Yeah.
Like they're not as automated as you'd think. I'm always amazed by that. Like they're really slow.
Yeah, it was not a bridge address because
It can be another
It's
person
also the
address
same
always.
address that initiated the hack, Rodney. So you can't say it was sent to a new address. It's literally the hacker initiated the hack.
exploit money.
Yeah, it was hacker's skill
It's
issue.
you.
man.
I send you 1 BTC, you send me 2 back.
So he did the hack and he just went and smoked a dart outside or a second, took a little break,
He-
came back 10 minutes later.
No, I mean, he was trying to bridge the money as soon
Yeah,
as
he bridged
possible.
a
He
bunch to
only
ETH.
could get 60 million out of the 260.
There's
only
it just
60
showed
mil.
there's no liquidity in those bridges.
Yeah. But all right. So, but he did. The guy did get some money.
He got 60 million. Yeah,
That's pretty good. Nice.
he cooked. Yeah,
Yeah.
like he cooked for his whole generation for the next
Yeah.
like
Now he has to launder it, and that's the tricky part.
Yeah,
Houdini
for
swap,
sure.
easy.
Yeah, well, it sounds like it's like no problem.
Just do like volume for the future of Houdini swap
Mm.
for the next 10 years. Just do $10 a day.
Yeah,
People do $10,000 a day apparently.
even 6 figures I've heard.
He can spend the rest of the year learning how to build a script just to send 10,000 a day, Rodney. I'm sure he's pretty chill.
Yeah. Is Houdini Swap open source?
Very the most open source, I think. Yeah. All right. Should we just full
KYC?
circle? The beginning is now the end. Should we wrap it up?
Probably.
Circle.
It is a circle. Yeah, there we go.
Circle.
Honestly, if they're gonna get like bailout status from the U.S. government, I'd buy some Circle. Let's go, man. I probably honestly, I don't know. Do it like wait for it to drop like 80%, like Coinbase did, and then buy it probably. Okay. Yeah, that's it. Thanks, guys, for coming out. Have a good night.
Thank you, chat.